we do think this committee's had a huge impact on protecting free speech. The gentlelady from Florida is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today we are examining a growing threat, the way that Europe and the UK are using so-called digital safety and competition laws to undermine American values and American innovation. The EU Digital Services Act and the UK's Online Safety Act go far beyond legitimate regulation. They empower foreign bureaucrats to label political dissent, even ordinary phrases like "take back our country," as hate speech, and they pressure US platforms to apply those censorship rules globally. At the same time, the EU's Digital Markets Act and the UK's DMCC deliberately single out American technology companies for punitive treatment, forcing them to share proprietary data and subsidize less innovative rivals. These laws are protectionist by design, and they put American jobs, innovation, and free speech at risk. Congress has a duty to push back. We must ensure that foreign governments cannot dictate what Americans are allowed to say online, nor use regulatory schemes and backdoor taxes on our most successful industries. I look forward to hearing from you all today and appreciate your testimony. Mr. Price, I am a former American judge, and as such, I know that laws must have clear, defined terms in order to be applied impartially and fairly and consistently. I'd like to return to the discussion of the OSA and specifically the requirement under which that for speech to be censored as a false communication, it must cause, quote, non-trivial psychological or physical harm. Would you share with us your perspective on the use of phrases such as non-trivial psychological harm and your view of whether it is possible for these terms to be applied uniformly, fairly, and consistently?
Good question.
I'm afraid I really can't, and you've hit the nail on the head, really, in terms of your question. These terms are extremely vague, and it's a long-standing principle of the common law that vagueness in the criminal law is repugnant.
And so, sir, is it your view that this is actually an appropriate or even enforceable regulatory scheme?
It's not appropriate, but they certainly intend to enforce it.
Mr. Reed, I'd like to turn back to the DMA's application to our companies and the concept of gatekeepers, which we touched on earlier today. Would you please describe how that operates and how these regulations are creating an unfair competitive advantage for European and Chinese firms at the expense of American companies?
Well, I think the primary problem with the way that the EU has set up the gatekeeper requirements is it's driving the largest companies to essentially pull back on the tools they build for my members from the frameworks that they build for the small businesses. Ironically, oftentimes these small guys are the ones who are going to compete with them because it allows them to say, well, in order to comply with the DMA, we need to remove various functions. And this isn't hypothetical. What we've seen so far in our discussions is they want to remove link-throughs. They want to remove other elements that they see as essentially keeping power in a few of the big companies. The irony is, of course, the small guy, not the medium-sized guy, not the billionaire, but the truly small guys actually need that foothold to step up. And so what it creates is an environment where, sure, there'll be some billionaire companies that will do well out of the DMA, but the thousandaires, those of us who are trying to get to that next level, are the ones who get crushed between the two giants.
Thank you. I yield the balance of my time to the chairman.
Hi, thank you.